I just got. This is from Jadey's Art, and I will put the link in the description. But it looks really cool. It's got the Druzy edge, and then the center is clear, and you could put a photo in there or design. So this is the first time I'm using it. So I'm actually going to be putting this little horse design in there. I cut the black sticker out on my Cricut and I just stuck it to a piece of acetate. So that's what I'm going to put in the center. So this is going to be poured in a lot of different layers. So, and I'm going to let it cure between each layer. So the first layer, this is just real simple. I'm just going to put some clear in here to adhere or to put the little horse design down. I just have a little clear left over from a pour I just did, so it's a little sticky, but that's good though because it doesn't have any bubbles in it. I'm just gonna get this in here. And this acetate, this is a nice trick if you want to get a design, but you're doing it on what would be the bottom of the mold, but the top of your item. So acetate works really good for that. You can see the edges a little bit after it cures. You'll be able to see the edges a little. So I did try to cut this to the exact size of that square. I got some resin on me. Grab a baby wipe. So yeah, I cut it to the size. If you're not able to do that, what I'll do sometimes to hide the edges is I will put maybe some shells or stones or glass or something and then put the acetate on, and that'll hide the edge. I'm just gonna hit this with the heat gun. So I really want to make sure there's no bubbles in this clear layer because the design is going to go right on top of it. So I'm just going to spread this out a bit. Make sure it goes to all the corners. And then I'm going to also run my little dotting tool along the edges just to make sure there's no bubbles. Tilt this a little, help it flow. It's a little hard when your resin is starting to get thick. It doesn't spread as easily. Okay. All right, I'm just gonna real lightly just get some of those bubbles that are coming up with my torch. I don't want to overdo it. This is a handmade mold and they tend to be a little bit more heat sensitive than some of the thinner or the cheaper ones that you might get on Amazon. It's much nicer silicone though. All right, so when I'm putting these down, first of all, you want to make sure that you have the right side down. But I don't just set it in there because then a lot of times you'll end up with an air bubble underneath. So what I do is I will gently kind of bend it like a little C shape. And then I will set the middle part down. And then I'll let the top kind of go down. And then I will let the bottom go down. And that just helps with any bubbles that might be in there. I'm just going to push it down, and it doesn't have to go, underneath the resin. It can just set on top because I'm going to be pouring more on top of it. A little hair. I'm just going to make sure it's centered. I see a couple little bubbles over here, so I'm just going to push the acetate down, and then the bubble will come out on this side. But there's really minimal bubbles if you do it that way, if you put the center down first. Now the acetate is pretty heat sensitive, so you don't want to use your torch. That's why I'm just using the heat gun. I have used a torch, and what ends up happening is the acetate will kind of curl. Even the heat gun can cause that, so you don't want to overdo it. All right, so I'm gonna let this set up, and then I will be back for the next layer. I'll see you tomorrow. All right, the clear has dried, so it's time for the next layer. So I'm gonna put some white. I want some like really sparkly white behind it. So I'm gonna use the mica additive from Island Micas and More. This is a shimmer that you can add to mica powder to make it even more shimmery. And then for the white, I'm using the Jewelescent. This is the Luster White. And there's still a little bit of a rim here before the Druzy section starts. So I'm just gonna fill it, hopefully level with that and not get any of the white into the Druzy part. So let's get this mixed up. And I have about a ½ ounce of resin there. I don't think it's gonna take too much. All right, so this stuff is very light and fluffy, and it will fly all over the place. I'm gonna start with that much. I can always add more if I want it shinier. I don't want to take too much because this is just a ½ ounce. That's probably too much, but we'll see. I'll get it mixed up. Yep, you can see that sparkle in there. It's so pretty. All right, so let's just get this poured. And then I'm just gonna spread it to the corners. Looks like I could have used a little bit more. I probably could have gotten away with maybe 3/4 of an ounce, but I wasn't sure. And it doesn't need to be full up to the top, just has to get to all the edges. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Just checking around the edges. Let me just grab my little dotting tool. Just want to make sure it's all the way over here. All right, so I'm gonna let this cure and we'll be back for the next layer tomorrow. So I will see you then. All right, the white is cured, so now the next layer. I thought long and hard about if I should just pour the black, because I want the edge to be black, if I just pour the black on the whole thing. But I've used Druzy molds before, and I go back and forth, but I've had some really, really cool results by pouring a clear layer first and then putting the color on. It seems to reflect even more and just play with the light even better than if I just pour the black. So I decided that's what I'm gonna do. So I've mixed up a couple ounces of clear. Hopefully this is enough. Let's pour this in here. And of course, you don't have to do it this way, but I just wanted to give it a try and see what it looks like in this mold. Okay, looks like 2 ounces was pretty good. So get it to the edges. It's not all the way in the corners yet, so let's see here. Just want a little stick. Apparently I don't have any little sticks. Well, I'll just use my, oh, you know what, I have a silicone. I'll use this guy. All right, so I'm just gonna push it in the corners. I don't like using the big popsicle stick to push into the corners because then it ends up going up the sides. And even though it flows back down, it does leave a little bit of resin on the edges then. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna let this cure, and then the last layer will be next. So I will see you then. Okay, that clear layer is dry, and I was originally just gonna pour black on here, but I have a lot of drips. I have 4 bags of drips, and I thought this might be kind of cool. So I just spaced these out in what I kind of like this look. So I'm going to just pour some clear over it. They're probably going to move as I'm pouring, so I'll have to reposition them. Usually I glue these down before I pour, and I don't have them glued down because I'm not sure if the glue will be visible because, you know, it'll be on the other side. So I'm hoping they don't float, but if they do float, this probably will end up being scrapped. So we'll just have to see. All right, so I mixed up 4.5 ounces. And that should be, and that's probably too much, I'm guessing. Maybe if I didn't have all those little drips in there, it might be, it might be the right amount, but these drips take up quite a bit of space. If you have drips and you're pouring a solid color piece, you can always use the drips as filler just to take up room, so you use less resin. And you won't see them, you know, if you're pouring a piece that's solid black or something, you're not gonna see the drips. They're just gonna get, you know, become part of the piece. All right, it looks like probably could have actually had another ounce. So that's good to know, because this will not be the last time I use this mold. Okay, and they are not floating, but obviously some of them moved while I was pouring. I'm just gonna put them back. And there is some air underneath them, so I'm just gonna go through, I'm gonna touch each one. Let's kind of move it just a little bit. Make sure that there aren't any air bubbles trapped under them. All right, I'm gonna take my little dotting tool. I'm just gonna go around the edge because I do see some bubbles just on the edge of the mold. Probably gonna end up moving some of these guys. It's funny how, you know, I had a vision for this piece. And then I came in here and I was gonna pour black. I had mixed up my resin and I had the black, the mix-all black sitting here. And then I don't know why this just popped into my head. I thought that might look kind of cool. It might look horrible. I don't know how much of this is gonna be visible behind the Druzy, but I thought, oh, this might be fun to just try. So you know me and my experiments. So what started out as a very simple piece has now become an experiment. All right, so I might have to babysit this for a few minutes just for the bubbles. But this is pretty much it for this layer, and then I will demold this tomorrow. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see what this looks like. So, all right. So keep on watching. I'll see you tomorrow. All right. I'm so excited to demold this. I have one good sized bubble that looks like it came up pretty late in the game because it actually didn't pop. So I did babysit this. I checked on it probably for 30 minutes. I kept coming in and blowing the bubbles, but this one looks like it came up late. So, oh well, that's okay. It's on the back, so. All right, I can't wait to get this out of here. Oh, listen to that. Love that sound. All right. Oh man, I'm just so excited. Okay, you can already see the sparkle. Okay. Looks really neat. You can see through it on the edges. All right, here we go. Flipping it over. Oh my gosh. That is so pretty. Look how sparkly that is. Oh my gosh. So you can't really see any of the detail that's on the drips, but the colors obviously come through. It looks so beautiful. Oh, I'm so excited. All right, well, I love how this turned out. I will put the link to this mold in the comments. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit that notification button so you get a notice every time I post something new. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.